2006 and the founder of Grameen Bank, the pioneering model of microfinance for sustainable development. He's a beacon of hope who has shown the world that business can indeed be a powerful force for positive change. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus, Chief Advisor of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to deliver the keynote address at the BIMSTEC Young Gen Forum, where the future meets.
Good afternoon. I'm very lucky. I'm lucky because this is my first meeting of BIMSTEC, and that meeting begins with the meeting with the young people. That's what makes me very lucky. All along, I tried to get inspiration from young people, and that helped me to move in the direction that I see in the eyes of the young people and the hopes and aspirations of the young people. That has driven me all along. So I'm very happy that this BIMSTEC journey for me begins with the young people. In this brief presentation, I'll just talk about some of the highlights of my story, how it went. But Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, and my young friends, first I must express my deep condolences for the tragedy that's taken away so many lives in Myanmar and also in Thailand. And this makes us aware of the limitation of our capacity to save people, and uncertainty, the way nature behaves, that we cannot track. We still have a long way to go, how to make sure we understand the nature and get along with it, making sure we can save people from the uncertainties that confronts us. Bangladesh is also a part of the area which is prone to earthquake. Luckily, we have not hit by such tragedy in Bangladesh yet. I'll just give an idea how I got into the things that I have done in the past. I was just mentioning to His Excellency Minister of Social Development that I used to teach in the USA, in Middle Tennessee State University, back in end of 60s and beginning of 70s. I was mentioning because I was surprised to see in my class, almost 1/3 of the class are Thai students. That's not what I expected when I began my teaching job. But I became very close to them. One reason was they are doing very bad in exams. Not because they're bad students. They're very good students. But they couldn't write in English. So I gave them a formula how we overcome that problem. That I'll say, you write in Thai, don't have to worry about it. Don't have to write in English. I'm not your English teacher, I'm your economics teacher. So they will write in Thai, and I'll pick one of the Thai students to come to my place and explain to me, read it, and explain to me what the student is writing about. If I see that it's written in the right way, he gets the grade. So I became a good friend of all the Thai students, of course. So that link lingered for a long time. And I left USA just because Bangladesh became an independent country in 1971. I left in the June of 1972 to come back to Bangladesh with all the excitement that you have a new country, you can design it with the dreams of your imagination, and you're all excited that you have independence, an independent country. So I was trying to see what I can do in that journey. But very soon, all the excitements of creating a new country started disappearing because Bangladesh was sinking very deep into economic troubles. By 1974, we had a terrible famine in the country. We read about famine in the textbooks, in the history books, but never see a famine around you. Now we have the experience of seeing a famine. You're coming from the United States with all the excitement of moving forward. Now country is sinking in debt, unimaginable debt. You see dead bodies on the street. It's not a disease, it's not COVID-19 which made them die. It's just not being able to have a fistful of rice to keep them alive. So as a young person, you start wondering, what good is this university where I'm teaching is all about? You can teach all the brilliant theories in classrooms, walk out of the classroom, you see dead bodies. So it unnerved me completely. I didn't know where to begin, what to do. I did little thing here, little thing there, didn't work. Then I decided, Bangladesh is too big for me. I'm a small guy. I can't do anything for whole Bangladesh. But I can do something for the village next to the university campus. This is a very interesting university, beautiful new university, but located in the midst of villages, not in the city, in an urban setting. So I decided this tiny village next to the campus is my Bangladesh. I'll do everything I can to make sure this village remains away from the deaths from hunger. Not only this year, next year, a year from now on. So all the imagination that you have with a good economic life, I tried to bring in my ideas, how to build this, create those situations in this village. I did little things again to see if I can be helpful to people. Then I realized the village is too big for me. I can't do anything for the whole village. So I started paying attention to individuals. That's a long story. When I started talking to the people in the village, get to know them, they look at me with suspicion because I'm coming from the university, which is just next door. But still, you're a kind of quote-unquote foreigner. Luckily for me, I could speak the local dialect. So that way, there was no language difference. So one particular event took me to take a next step. woman I met, she was a victim of a loan shark. She did a wonderful job, but the benefit of her job is entirely taken away by the loan shark who provide her the money to buy the ingredients for whatever she is making. And the loan size was just over $1. That's a loan. But that $1 loan kind of made her into a slave labor. And instead of overcoming the problem, she became a slave labor because whatever she prepares, the condition of the loan shark is, you have to sell anything you produce to me at the price I decide. Imagine that. So in the conversation, I said, if I give you the $1, can you produce and sell it in the market? She was not familiar with the market. She said, I can try. So that was my first loan I gave. Gave her $1. I said, you have to pay me back. But whenever you can, I'm not going to force you to do anything. And the results I got from her kind of made me think, if $1 can do such a thing, why don't I do more? And I still have lots of money in my pocket. I'm coming from the United States. I was teaching there for several years. My pockets are full with dollars. So that was the beginning. And it led to step by step, not only just lending money, but raising questions, fundamental questions. If this money, this dollar can change one person's life, and you get your money back, why don't we do more? I go to the bank in the campus. It's a newly built campus, newly built banking offices. I talked to the manager. He said, why don't you lend money to the people, poor people in the village? He was shocked. He simply argued, bank cannot lend money to poor people. So I argued and argued. Nothing changed. I said, you know what? Your banking system is totally wrong. You are built in a wrong principle. The principle that you work with, the more you have, the more you get. So you're always looking for the guys who have more, so that you can give them more. I said, that's kind of reverse of the actual principle that you should have. Actual principle should have been, the less you have, the more attention you get. And my first responsibility is to go at your door to serve you. You don't do that. As a result, you create this problem for the whole village and for the whole country. Now I see it's the whole world. Same banking principle. The more you have, the more you get. If you have nothing, you get nothing. So stay there. The whole idea of transforming the society is killed right there. There's nothing wrong with people. They're full of energy, full of creative ideas, but the institutions are built in the wrong way. So I started becoming very vocal. Since I'm a university professor, I'm quoted in the press. I make it very, very sharp. People laugh at me. This crazy guy, don't understand any business, any banking. He keeps talking loud about something which cannot be done at all. Poor people need jobs, not money. I started answering that question. I said, money is more important than job. That became another root of my arguments, and I continue to do that. But for the time being, I'm saying not only banks should be made in a way that you should be focusing, started doing business at the bottom first and then gradually move up. To make it more focused, I started saying not only credit is important, it should be considered as a human right. People say, what bank loan has got to do with human rights? I said, everything. Right to live, right to shelter, right to health, right to health. These are recognized as human rights. You cannot achieve right to food, right to shelter, right to health, all these, unless you establish right to credit. The moment you have the right to credit, others will be established by themselves, by people themselves. You don't have to bring it from outside, because credit leads to income. So that continued. I said, since bank doesn't give the money, why don't I create my own bank? So that is another route. We started with that $1 loan. Now I'm talking about creating my own bank. It took a lot of time. Finally, I created a bank for the village, called it Village Bank. In Bangla, we call it Grameen Bank. That's the word you hear. Grameen means village, village bank. And I was very excited. And how do we get all this thing done? With all my students. I didn't have anybody else. My students loved those ideas. They were with me all the time. Continued with that. So it's established in the village, then it started spilling over to the other villages and other villages. Soon we see it became nationwide bank. Everybody said, why do you do that? That doesn't do anything, this tiny little money, $5, $10, $20. That's not, I said, that's the beginning. First dollar is the most important dollar in everybody's life. But the world denies that money. What I'm doing, I'm just bringing that as a human right, that you can do that. As a bank, it's not a charity. Then I started arguing about the charity versus loan. I said, charity is a wonderful idea. Charity money goes out, does wonderful things. The money doesn't come back. So you have one time use your money. But if you invest and lend the money, and the person who took the money promises to pay you back with interest so that you can cover your cost, that's a fantastic opening. You can go thousands of miles with that. Nobody can stop you because money rolls back again and again. So use the same money over and over again. And I started saying, charity money has only one life. You can use the money once only. Money goes out, does a wonderful job, but never comes back. That's called charity. I say the same thing if I use it as a loan. I lend the money, I provided the funds, charge the cost of the operation, money comes back. Use it again. It does the same thing again. So you can expand and expand and expand. Reach out to millions and millions of people. It's very difficult to argue such things in the environment where banking means you have to be providing collateral. I said collateral is the wrong idea. It's a wall built to deny poor people access to bank. That's the only purpose. How dare you say that? I said, say it because I don't have collateral in my system. People take money, they pay me back. Oh, they will never pay back. I said, they have been paying back all my life. I have no problem. Oh, they will finally show you that you are not right because they will not pay you back. I said, I've been doing it for years. Many people are copying it. They're doing it for years. Just because you imagine something doesn't make it right. This is real. We do it all every day. So that's another road opened up. Banking without collateral. I said collateral is just an excuse to refuse people financial services from the banking system. If it can work without collateral, why do you need a collateral? Then people say, oh, Bangladesh is a crazy country, funny country. You can get away with this kind of thing and people listen to you. I said, no, not Bangladesh alone. Now it's spreading in many countries. Right now, it's a funny thing. It's working in the United States. 35 major cities in the United States have Grameen program called Grameen America. They have over 200,000 borrowers, all women, 100% women. In Bangladesh, it's about 95% women. In the United States, 100% women, not a single man in the whole system. Last year, we lent out over $1.5 billion in tiny loans. In tiny loans in the United States means under $1,000, $500, $700, and so on, and expanding. Very soon, we'll be arriving at a situation we'll be lending out over $5 billion a year. That's the spread going. So this is, again, you're challenging the system to change the world. You cannot create a world with the same system. If you want to change the world, you have to change the system. There's no other option for you, no matter how you argue with it. If you go by the same road, you'll always get to the same destination. If you want to go to a new destination, you have to build a new road. So that became another issue. We continued with that, and when we have this system working in Bangladesh, we saw problems with children, healthcare, education. So we started adding these things. First thing we did about toilets. Poor families don't have any toilet. We said, if you're a Grameen Bank borrower, first thing we do, you must have a toilet. And we lend you money to build the toilet. They said, well, how do we pay it back? Don't worry. You pay a tiny, tiny little bit. So small that it doesn't bother you anymore. But over years, you'll pay us back the entire amount. So we built a company to produce toilet and install in every single house, the Grameen Bank family house. So toilet became an essential thing in Grameen families. And we had no problem with giving the money, spending the money, and getting the money back. Then we started giving them housing loans. Again, the same principle. We build a house, you build a house, we give the money, you pay over a long period. Then we started bringing healthcare through health insurance. You pay a tiny little bit, but you're covered under health insurance. Again, it pays it back. So we created lots of these little things, one after another, in a sustainable way, in a financially sustainable way. They said, you must be getting lots and lots of foreign money to do all these things. I said, I don't take any foreign money at all. Grameen Bank resists foreign money. Many big international organizations wanted to give lots of money. I said, no, we don't need money. We have plenty of money. We are in a business. We generate our own money within a bank. Banking system is a very interesting system. It generates its own money. People come and put the deposits in the bank and use the money to give it to the people. And we are the most reliable bank in the whole country. We work in all the villages. People from the area, they come and put the money because no other bank. So we have lots of money coming in. Our problem is not shortage of money. Our problem was a surplus of money. They put the money in, but we don't know how quickly to expand your business because your business is fixed. It has to be poor women. They have capacity to take money is limited. So it's a very reverse kind of experience. So this is one area. We created all these businesses. We created these programs, turned into businesses. Toilet business, so it became a commercial business. We produce toilet and sell it to borrowers. Healthcare became a separate business. Housing became a separate business. So along the way, we created many businesses. And people keep asking, how many businesses can you run? You must be making a lot of money. I said, yes, it brings the money back, but we don't want to make any profit out of it. Another debate began. Debate is, how can you run a business not to make money? Because in our textbook says you must maximize profit if you want to be a business. And you're saying you don't want to make profit for yourself. I said, that's the difference. I'm saying I don't want to make profit for myself. Business makes profit. Profits is rolled into the business to expand the business, to reach out to more people, provide more services. It's self-reliant businesses. That became a debate. That you cannot call a business. I said, I'm an economics teacher, so you don't have to define what a business is all about. It's a perfect business. Simply, I don't take the money off the business into my pocket. That's all. Then it is not a business. You have to make money. That's the business. I said, no, that's not what it says. It says you have to make profit, not put it in your pocket. No, you have to put it in your pocket. So that debate went on. Big experts in economics started challenging the whole idea. I said, okay, it doesn't fit into your idea of business. This is a new idea of business. So I needed a name to define it as a new business. So I started calling it social consciousness-driven business. When I mention it several times, it looks too long for me. So I simplified it, call it social business. What is a social business? Social business is a business to solve problems rather than make money for yourself. Oh, then this is not a business. Business is not supposed to solve problems. Business is supposed to make money for yourself. I said, this is a new kind of business. Do you have a problem with that? If you have a problem, you don't go do it. I have no problem, I do it. So I created social businesses. And one after another, we created many, many social business, became nationwide businesses. Very interesting thing is, some international companies, global companies became interested in the concept of social business. They wanted to build social business, taking us as a partner. So we agreed. So we kept Danone, Uniqlo, and many other such companies. So another class of business is created, social business. See, the world is stuck. And it cannot free itself from the old thinking. In old thinking, you are destroying this whole world for yourself. I said, old thinking has created old civilization, which you are going through. And I repeatedly underlined that old civilization that we are going through, the present civilization that we are going through, is a self-destructive civilization. It will destroy everything. And that's the path we are going. If you want to survive as human being on this planet, I said we have to create a new civilization, which will be, the features of new civilizations has to be very clear. It's shown, first condition of the new civilization, the businesses should not be greed-driven. So greed part has to be squeezed out in the new civilization. Greed will destroy us. Why? Because whatever, all the things that we talk about, we promise as a government to see this is what we're doing. Our country is moving forward, our GDP is growing and all that, and growth rate is so high. So what? All the wealth this is generated gets concentrated in few hands. They become richer, richer and richer. And we call it development, we call it growth, we call it fantastic economy. But that's, you are planting the seed of your self-destruction. Unless wealth is shared, you cannot sustain a society. Concentration of wealth equals concentration of power. And you start concentrating power and deprive the power for the people in the ground, that society will collapse sooner or later. That's it. This is one reason why the civilization cannot sustain. On top of it, we are destroying the planet through environmental side. We created the world where consumption is the king. You buy, consume, consume, consume. And in the process, create waste and waste and waste. If not anything else, the whole waste that we generate every day will put us into grave of waste. I said we have to redesign our lifestyle. Lifestyle is not about continuous process of creating waste. Life is about preservation. Life is about protection. So I continued on that. Then finally I came out with one idea, put it in a kind of capsule format. Said we have to create a civilization of 3 zeros. 3 zeros. 0 net carbon emission, 0 wealth concentration, 0 unemployment. And unemployment not because everybody has a job. The way I interpret unemployment, I said, human beings are not born to work for anybody else. The economic system that we are taught, is again put onto a wrong footing. We are asking everybody to find a job. Our education system is built around finding, so that you get a job as soon as you finish your school. You get a certificate, you get a job. I said human beings are very different from job seeker. First of all, human beings are not slaves. Slavery is not part of our destination. Job turns you into a slave. You take orders from other people. You are born as an entrepreneur. So I bring the entrepreneurship at the center. Every child has to grow up as an entrepreneur. Our schooling, our education system changed itself. You teach young people to become an entrepreneur, not to become a job seeker. So that is another clash between what we are promoting and what we are practicing in the outside world. I said, the young generation today is you forget about the previous generation. Today's generation is so different. I keep mentioning to the young generation that you are the most powerful generation in the human history. And you're taking this most powerful generation and put them into work for somebody else. Take orders from somebody else. They're filled with ideas. If you free them. Now you're forcing them to get a job because otherwise they're going to survive. Because you have not provided those things. So that's where we say we have to be entrepreneurs. So 3 zeros. 0 net carbon emission, 0 wealth concentration, 0 unemployment. And then we started encouraging young people between 12-year-old to 35-year-old to create what we call 3-0 clubs. 5 young people get together, create a 3-0 club. What do? Each one of you transform yourself as 3-0 person. I do not contribute as a person. I do not contribute into carbon emission. I do not do anything which contributes to carbon emission. It's my lifestyle issue. I create a life where I don't do that. I do not create any waste. This is part of my commitment as a member of the 3-0 club. I do not practice anything which will lead to wealth concentration. 0 wealth concentration. I'll become an entrepreneur. I do not contribute to job seeking, working for somebody else. So these are the 3-0, I become a 3-0 person. So this is the direction I want to go. So these are the ideas that one led to another. This is not something happened isolated way. Each one linked to one. I mentioned to go back, concentrate on one village. I said, whatever you try to do, don't try to do overnight, change the world. You cannot do that. If you want to change the world, you start with your village. You start with your neighborhood. If you are successful with your neighborhood, then you have a chance to go to the next step and the next step. Life is about developing a prototype. If you build a prototype, the rest is easy. Replicate. Because you have basic structure here fixed up. That's how microcredit works. We built up the first unit. If the first unit works, you can make thousands and thousands of units doing the same thing. So don't start with a big thing. That's the wrong idea. Always start with the smallest thing possible. Figure out what the smallest thing is all about. And you do that. If you're successful with your smallest unit, you can conquer the world. The rest is easy, just by repetition. So this is where we are right now, and trying to see we can address the people's attention to change their views, because the whole problem is created by the way we structured the civilization for ourselves. Unless we redesign it, we are stuck and we are finished. So that's the world we see. We have the alternative. It's not that it's a kind of terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. Simply become aware. It can be done in a different way, in a better way, in a sustainable way. That's the direction we want to go. And that's where young people get excited, because they have lots of creative ideas. Somehow we put a tab on it, put them under wrap, open it up, and young people dare to be themselves and get into a mission that we have to create a world so that the whole human community survives. Otherwise, we're in grave danger. So I'll stop here, and I guess I'm supposed to take some questions. I'll be very happy to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. His Excellency will gain not only valuable knowledge, but also meaningful inspiration to pursue business with purpose, to ourselves, to the countries, and to our region as well. And now it's time to open the floor for Q&A before the photo session. Okay, so anybody, any questions are welcome. Please raise your hand for the question. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Your Excellency. My name is Jenny Starr. I am economic researcher specialized in international policy. First of all, thank you for your inspiring speech. It's quite meaningful for me. Today I have two questions. The first one is, nowadays there are many young generation who want to create a social impact, but they are struggle with funding, so they can't expand their social campaign. So in your opinion, how could they overcome this kind of challenge? And the second one is, as the leader of Bangladesh, do you think how the government sector could create a more friendly ecosystem for young innovators, especially in social enterprise? Thank you.
Well, the second question first, how to make it friendly government, is very difficult. It's not easy. We are hoping, at least in Bangladesh, we can move in that direction. Because the people's perception in Bangladesh government is a kind of a terror machine. You create trouble for them. The purpose of the government is to create trouble. Not solve your trouble, but to create new trouble for you. So if you see a government guy, you stay away from him. And that's completely counter to the whole idea of government. So it needs overhauling of great magnitude to make sure that you become, so when you see a government guy, you feel relieved that, okay, I have a government guy next to me. I'll be protected. It takes a lot of practicing, a lot of redesigning inside the government. Hopefully someday we'll be able to do that. On the question of finance, my entire story is about finance. And I'm saying that we are not waiting for money. See? We are not saying, give me some money. We have our stories after stories where we defended ourselves from billions of dollars of money coming to us. We said, please don't give us, don't destroy us. We are okay. So it has to be reversed. You should be generating your funds, creating things. And there I suggest the one idea, social business. CSR. Many companies have CSRs. We can go and describe to them. We're giving money, giving it away to help people. Why don't you invest in a social business fund so that people can take this money, create social businesses, and return the money into your fund, and you contribute to fund each year, it becomes big. You're not doing anything extra. And instead of giving it away, you're keeping it, and it's growing. And we benefit from it. Because companies are supposed to give it away. That's a CSR money. Simply you're saying, you can do it other way. You can say, half the money you put in a social business fund, half you give it away. See which one works better for you. If you like this one better, gradually you'll put all the money. And then you can, in addition, if you like it, in addition, you become a partner in a social business. Healthcare could be a fantastic social business. Everybody needs healthcare. And this is the most difficult thing to get in most of the countries. I said, why don't we create social businesses? During COVID-19, we have gone through a big fight, global fight, to make vaccine patent-free. Just patent-free. We're not saying give it free. Patent-free. Patent means you protect the right for yourself. You can charge any amount you want. It's a monopoly right. Take away monopoly. You sell the product at the price which you have to charge. Because it's a question of people's life. We have had the global fight for this. Fighting taken to the WTO, because that's where final voting takes place. It needs every nation's concurrence. When everybody says yes, then only then it could be removed. In the final count, when after long battle around the world, final count, 10 countries stayed away, didn't vote. So patent stayed. As a result, COVID-19 vaccine went to rich countries in extremely high prices. Companies made billions of dollars, and they're gloating with happiness, giving big captions. So many billions of dollars on this, so many billions of dollars here. I said, that's a shame. You're making this money at the cost of people's lives. Many people, millions of people in the world didn't have access to vaccine because they will not allow this vaccine without patent right. If patent right was removed, many countries will produce this, and it will be available everywhere. So ever since we are campaigning pharmaceutical companies to become social business companies. Today you pay a penny for your medicine, in the production of that medicine, you charge to the consumer $1 for that. Nobody can stop that. It's a free market. So I said only escape from that is to create social businesses. Where would the social business come from? From me and from you. If you agree, we do that. Nobody can stop us. It's a business. Only thing, we don't overprice it to make money for ourselves. Because social business doesn't have any room for making personal money out of the business. So that's it. So this is the way to go. It can be created. Money should not be a barrier. It's a kind of, again, creative way of thinking how to make it possible. Make contracts with the people. I delivered this, you give me this, I delivered this. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and please feel free to engage with Professor Yunus. Thank you. Please. The lady in the middle, please also introduce yourself and your organization. ตรงกลางสุดขาวค่ะ
First of all, Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, Prime Minister. I would like to have, I'm Fatima from Asia Medicare Group Company. We're running about the medical tourist business. I have it the same question since I asked last Prime Minister, last time when they visit Thailand. I want to know about the bank system. When is gonna be developed or improved about bank to bank and increase this for more easier business between Thailand and Bangladesh? Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's many examples that around the world how to create a new kind of bank, it's a social business bank. So microcredit banks are social business bank. We're not talking about you make money out of the poor people. We said create a social business bank. If you want to make money and still lend money to the poor people, that's fine. It's allowed. But better still, it could be a social business. So that you do that not to make money for yourself. You do that because you want to help people to transform their own lives. Yes. And give it a thing. And we keep saying that, like in the universities, in the colleges where students come, I'm saying they should be entrepreneur. In every school, they should have a social business fund. So the students who will become entrepreneurs, they'll come with a business idea and go to the school fund to try it out, practice it. It's a tiny little model that they would like to do. And if it's successful, they can attract funding from other people. But the school should be able to provide this funding so that you can start a new idea while you're still in school. Because that's where you should be preparing yourself as an entrepreneur. And people say, why should they do for social business? I said, at this time, I'm not saying it should be all social businesses. They can do money-making businesses too, but the fund should be there so that they can practice it. But I'll encourage young people to solve the problem of the world. They have to have a mission, purpose of life. Purpose of life could be, I will make lots of money. That's my purpose of life. Okay. But another purpose of life, I will change the world. Things that happen, they don't have to happen because I will come up with an idea which removes all this problem. And history will record that I made this thing and as a result, the world has changed. People's life has changed. So give people challenges, young people challenges. Young people love challenges. But you're not doing that. All you're saying, get ready so that you know how to appear in the interview board, how you dress yourself, how you answer questions so that you impress, so that you get a job. We are not job seekers. We are human beings. We are full of entrepreneurial capability, full of ideas. That's what the education system should be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. The lady in the front.
Sorry, I can't see anybody. So I hope there's some light in the middle.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I'm Asleisha Karki. I'm representing Nepal for today's program as well. I had a question for you. It was really interesting when you said the 3 zeros, but something that struck even more to me was the part where you said 0% unemployment. So, you know, as a fellow young entrepreneur, I do think entrepreneurship is something we have to talk about more and get more people engaged. But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, I know I need a lot of help from fellow other members in the community as well. So could you elaborate a little more when you said we need to be more prone to entrepreneurship than employment?
One is you're, as a young person going through this education or whatever experience you're going through, you're always thinking, what is that I'm going to do? Oh, I like this and I'll become a CEO of this company finally. I enter at the bottom and I'll do that. I'm a very talented person. So that is very attractive. Or I see this problem. People work very hard, but they don't get the return that they should get because of the system, the banking, because of the system, the legal system. They're pushed away from the mainstream. So I'll create something so that they will go very easily with a happy life. I'll come up with an idea which will transform their life. If I can transform one human being's life, my life is worth living. If I can do it for many, many, of course, that's what I'll feel happy that I have done something which touched people's lives. Otherwise, I can do things and make money, have a big, exciting life for myself, but people have nothing to do with you. You never had anything to do with anybody. So you have to choose which one you're looking for. So one of the purpose of education is to find your purpose. See, in the entire education system, there's nothing called what is the purpose of your life. They will make you expert in everything, but never ask the basic question, why I'm here? What am I supposed to do? Do I have choices? How do we choose my path? I think that will be the first question in the education system. The day you enter grade 1, what is the purpose of my life? And I search for it as I go. And I battle with my colleagues. I tell my colleagues this is what I do. My friends in the class say, no, I want to do this. Other friends say, no, I want to do this. And my ideas keep changing. Next class, I'm much mature. I know what I want to do. But still, brighter ideas keep coming in the debates and so on. Because this is a fundamental question each class asks itself. And we record it. So the next year we read it, what we used to think about last year. Has anybody changed his mind? Yes, I've changed my mind. This is what I want to do. Record it. So as we go, how our minds develop. Ultimately, I have to find the purpose of my life. It's a very short period. It's not a long period. But within that short period, I have to reach the goal of my life. Making money cannot be a goal of life. But if you want, put it there. I want to make money. Go ahead. But you listen to others, what they want to do. I want to change the world. I don't like the way it happened this way. I don't like the way I don't like the war. I don't like this. I want to create a world like this. That's what it will happen. Imagination. That's the key word for every young person. Imagine. Imagine the world that you want to have. Imagine what you want. That's the part of your growing up. By the time you're mature, you're ready to go, you have your ideas matured. If you imagine, whatever you imagine, it will happen. If you don't imagine, it will never happen. Imagination is a big part. That's the most important ingredient in every single human life. Imagination. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the Q&A session, and big round of applause to His Excellency Professor Dr. Yunus for a wonderful keynote address. And also please remain on the stage for a photo session, and may I invite His Excellency Mr. Warawut Silapa Acha, Minister of Social Development and Human Security, the Kingdom of Thailand. Her Excellency Ms. Jiraporn Singtuprai, Minister attached to the Prime Minister's Office. His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Tawhid Hossain, Honorable Advisor for Foreign Affairs of the Government of Bangladesh. His Excellency Indra Madi Pandey, Secretary General of BIMSTEC, and all the speakers from the BIMSTEC member states for both sessions. Please, all the speakers come up for the photo session. Chile. Here to witness the BIMSTEC Young Gen Forum, where the future meets, co-hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and TNN World. It's such a highlight that 7 BIMSTEC member states together represent over 1.7 billion people, accounting for nearly 23% of the world's population. forming a dynamic and expansive market full of investment opportunities across various industries.